okay? So ChatGPT is a large language model. It's considered a chatbot. It was launched November 30th, 2023 by OpenAI. And here's a fun fact. It is arguably to this date, single-handedly, the most successful tech launch that ever occurred. Bigger than Facebook, bigger than TikTok, bigger than anything you can imagine. And it happened overnight. I'm going to say it again, while you were sleeping, while we were all sleeping, ChatGPT rolled out without any news coverage at first. So here's some facts I will tell you that I travel and teach on. It didn't take the news media. It was word of mouth. While you were sleeping, 10 million users started using it. And what happened, they amassed this by word of mouth. And then the news, for the first time ever in history, they were slow to catch the news. They came on the tail end and caught up. And then that's all they would talk about for the whole year. So that's what ChatGPT is. The reason it's so special is for the first time, there's an interface, right? A front-facing chatbot that allows you and I to talk as long as we want, as little as we want, as detailed or high level as we want in any language, and you don't have to be a techie. So this was unheard of before ChatGPT, all right? So ChatGPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So that's what the GPT stands for, Generative Pre-trained Transformer. All that means is that ChatGPT has been trained on millions of data points, millions. And this is getting into why it's so powerful. So first I'm educating you so that you understand the benefit. So over the past 45 days, let me share with you the ways that Dawn Nicole has used ChatGPT and that many super users are using it. The first thing I should share with you, like many of you, I'm extremely busy. I have 2 companies happening at the same time. I have an AI EdTech company that I hardly have time for, and then I've launched this new platform, and I use ChatGPT for almost everything. I use ChatGPT to write my LinkedIn headlines and then rank them, and I'm going to show you how to do it today. I use ChatGPT not always to write new website copy, because you're going to learn in a second why you should start with something, but I have it rewrite everything, and then I have it analyze everything. So I use ChatGPT as a coach. I also use ChatGPT to create draft business plans. And this is the thing for anyone who's listening saying, wait a minute, but I don't want ChatGPT to replace everything. It's not about wanting, it's about maybe there's a better use of your time. And I'm going to show you that too. So everything that you used to do that was mundane or repetitive, ChatGPT is now doing it. I use ChatGPT to create NDAs, email series, email campaigns, custom training plans, and so much more. And here's the thing, right? Because there's this belief system that if you use ChatGPT, you're a phony. Wrong, right? Right, Joan? Like Joan is shaking her head. Let me tell you something. Junk in, junk out. In order for ChatGPT to even be effective, you have to know some degree of what you know. ChatGPT is here to make it better and faster. So for all of those resisting it, saying, no, I will absolutely not have ChatGPT write a business plan, then my friend, knock yourself out and spend that 5 hours, and then I'm going to have mine done in 10 seconds. I'm going to edit it, right, refine it, and keep it moving. And this is the world we are moving to. We've got to get comfortable, all right? So let's talk about some things. What are the best use cases of ChatGPT? Things in your business that are repetitive. Why? Because repetitive tasks that you do over and over and over again kills your productivity, right? If you're doing the same thing over and over again, right, and you're doing it manual, that's a great candidate for ChatGPT. What's another candidate? Anything with deep thinking. If you have deep thinking, there's this new notion, save your brain cells for deep thinking. You know why? Because ChatGPT has this thing called super intelligence. Let me put you on to what that is. Super intelligence, you and I represent one mode of intelligence. We represent all of the intelligence from our own lived experience. I'm 45 years old, so what I bring to the table is 45 years of intelligence, right? And you bring however your age, and that's what you got. What ChatGPT has been trained on is millions of data points. So imagine it knowing something in your area of subject matter expertise and having already ran it through about 10,000 millions of folks like you. So what you bring to the table, instead of you exhausting your brain cells on deep thinking, you leverage ChatGPT's super intelligence. And by the way, that's a real word that you want to get used to. It's called super intelligence, as opposed to human intelligence, our regular general intelligence, okay? And then what is a third candidate for ChatGPT? For intense analyzation. Gone are the days where you have to use your eyes and squint your eyes for deep analyzation. ChatGPT has already been configured for data computing. In fact, ChatGPT was trained on data, so you don't have to do that anymore. So you ladies are probably wondering, well, Dawn Nicole, if ChatGPT does all of this in my business, what am I going to spend my time doing? Is anybody wondering that? If I have ChatGPT do it, Jeanette said, nope. Jeanette said, I can find something to do, right? So here are the conversations that are being had around you, because people are asking, well, wait a minute. If ChatGPT does too much, what am I going to spend my time on? And here's how we answer that. We say, create a list of things ChatGPT cannot do, like hug your kids, love your spouse, be in the moment, be where your feet are, right? There are some things in life that you may not want ChatGPT to do. That's called non-negotiable, right? So defining what is non-negotiable for you, what things are you going to maintain? All right. So these are just some mindset things before we get into the actual meat of it. All right. So here's something else you may not know. ChatGPT is so hot that it created an entirely new role in corporate America. Now I'm going to tell you why this matters to you, because most of us are business owners. ChatGPT came out in November, right? November 30th, less than a year. Within 90 days to 6 months to 8 months, ChatGPT was so popular and so critical to the functions of these corporate enterprises that they actually have a job description. And now companies are paying upwards of $900,000, right? So Netflix is willing to pay $900,000. Amazon's willing to pay $340,000. You know what for? For people, two types of people when it comes to ChatGPT. Those who know how to use it, like you and I, and then those who know how to program it. So why is a corporation so willing to pay this much money? Because they get it. They understand the productivity, right? The value. And so as business owners, we need to wrap our heads around this too. That's why corporations are paying $340,000 and more for ChatGPT. And even if it's not techie, in HR, they want you to know ChatGPT, right? It's not about being in a technical role anymore. In finance, they want you to know how to use ChatGPT for productivity and efficiency. So in order for us as small businesses to stay ahead of the game, you've got to know it. All right. So let's get into some basic rules. Before I teach you some tricks that I'm doing to kill it, you need to know some basic rules. So number one, there's a term called prompt. A prompt is a proper term when you're talking about ChatGPT. What you're putting into the system is called a prompt, and a prompt is a command or a request or requirement that you are asking ChatGPT to carry out for you. So if you say, hey, write me 5 recipes on waffles, right? Give me 5 homemade recipes. What you just did is you put a prompt. So that is called prompting. And by the way, there are real prompting certifications like the one I showed you earlier. And if you know how to prompt, many of your clients like that as well, okay? So here's some other things that you should know about prompting. Prompting has inputs and outputs. Input is the information that you enter. That is called an input. An output would be the results or the responses you receive. Why am I telling you this? Because in a second, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to actually go to ChatGPT screen and I'm going to use terms like, here's the prompt I use, here's the input I put in. So I want you to know the terms, okay? Also, ladies, it's a best practice to start with the info you know. Remember months ago, everybody was saying ChatGPT is wrong. It is wrong. It's getting it wrong. Guess what? It turns out we didn't know how to use it. If you put junk in, you're going to get junk out. If you don't prompt properly, you're going to get junk, because ChatGPT and large language models are designed to hallucinate. Can someone come off mute and just give me an idea? What is the term hallucination? Have you ever heard the term hallucination when it comes? If you know it, just come off mute and tell us what it is. Anybody?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Adrian, please share.
So a hallucination is, it is looking for the information that you're talking about, but it can't quite pinpoint it. So it kind of makes up something to fill it in. Right. It sounds proper, it sounds accurate, but it is not. It's just a bunch of jargon, almost like GPS sending you somewhere that used to be there but isn't anymore, and you're just lost.
Exactly. And Adrian, what causes hallucinations would be like incomplete information, chat is fetching for the rest of it, right? So yes. Exactly. So ladies, this is where ChatGPT got such a bad name, unfortunately, right? ChatGPT got a bad name because when it first came out, because, you know, it's our natural behavior to resist it. Let's just be honest. We want to resist it. We want to point out what's wrong with it. But now I'm not saying ChatGPT is perfect, but what I am saying is in the absence of not having a structure or technique, you tend to just go at it and do what you think is right. And so ChatGPT starts to hallucinate when it doesn't have enough information. Jeanette, it's just like if you rolled up to a fast food restaurant and you don't know what you want and you say, just give me a burger. Well, what kind of burger? I don't know anything, right? You're going to get anything. And so the more specific, starting with what you know or what you think you know is a best practice to start with ChatGPT. Even if it's a little bit, start with what you know and build on it, right? And then here's the other thing, number 5, be okay with seeing ChatGPT as the first draft creator. You've got some people, because what I don't recommend is that you take it fully out of ChatGPT and just completely use it as is, right? So do what you need to in ChatGPT and do a double check, right? And tweak it and make it your own, right, Joan? You don't take the newsletter and just take what Chat gave you, because at the end of the day, you know what you have over ChatGPT? You still have emotional intelligence. ChatGPT doesn't have that. So no matter how good it gets, Joan, right? No matter how good it gets, Dr. Stephanie, ChatGPT still doesn't know my actual clients. And so while it does a great job of first drafting, I always have to tweak it to make it my own voice. And I'm going to recommend that you all do the same. Okay? All right. So any questions on the basic rules before we move forward? Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do first is hopefully we're all on LinkedIn. So whether you're on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, you're using headlines, right? You're using a tag, you're using your headlines. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to show you. So I'm the queen of LinkedIn. Like we're probably all the queen of something, but I love my LinkedIn. And so when I was changing businesses to Queen City Women in Business, I struggled between what I was and where I wanted to be. How do I say this without looking confused? I'm not confused, but I don't want to confuse people, right? I just did a transition from Skilldora. By the way, I'm still a part of Skilldora, but I have a more dominant role in Queen City Women in Business. How do I embrace both of them? So you know what I did? I used ChatGPT as my coach, my LinkedIn coach. And I said, ChatGPT, here's a headline I'm thinking about. So it's going to give you the best results when you give it an idea what you're thinking about. ChatGPT, this is what I'm thinking about, but I want you to provide 5 additional headline variations modeled after this current one. Right? And then so what I just did, let me be clear. This is what I said to ChatGPT, but what I really said, Keisha, is I gave ChatGPT a technique that's called triple C. I gave it a command, I gave it context and cause. This is really important because if you don't use techniques and you're just going at it willy-nilly, technique will get you further faster. So ChatGPT is command driven. So notice if you go back here. All right, so provide 5 additional, let's see what it does. So here's what it's doing. It's very important that you tell Chat exactly what you want it to do. If you leave it vague, it's gonna hallucinate or do what it wants you to do. So what it did is it took what I gave it and it said, Dawn Nicole, here's 5 variations. So it told me that I could say, hey, you're a visionary leader at Queen City Women in Business. You're empowering women. You're leading the way, Dawn Nicole. You're CEO of Queen City Women in Business and co-creator, right? And this one I would say is closest. So now watch what I'm going to do next. Because let's pretend I'm confused. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are all so good. I'm going to say, rank these on the most powerful, let's see, rank these on which is most powerful and explain why. So now what I just did is a technique where you're not starting over, you're asking it to expound on an output that it gave you. So watch what is going to happen. This is where you really start using Chat the right way, like getting into it as a coach. So it's going to rank these. So watch this. Let's see what it says. All right, so the perceived power of these headlines can vary depending on the context and the audience you are targeting. Now, this is telling me I wasn't specific because I should have said rank these on what's most powerful to this audience. So if I had been very specific, I would have got that. But let's take a look at what it tried to do. So it re-gives me these same headlines, you all. And so then it gives me rationale. It says this headline emphasizes innovation. Well, I don't care that much about that, right? This headline combines elements of leadership. Okay, that's nice, right? This headline. So it gives me a ranking. Then it says it's important to note the effectiveness can vary. So it would have actually chosen one if I had been specific on what I'm trying to cause. Does everyone understand the power of the cause, the third thing? I didn't say what I'm trying to create. So cause is, why are you doing this? What are you hoping to cause? So watch this. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to say something like, I'm going to tell it to rank these and I'm going to give it a cause. I'm going to be specific. So I'm going to say, rank these on which is most powerful to women business owners, right? So now I'm targeting who I want to see my headline and be moved, right, in some way. So rank these on which is most powerful to women business owners, and explain why this would attract. Can somebody let that person in up there? Explain why this would attract them. Okay, so now I'm going to go here. Now that I'm clearer, I'm looking for a different result. So ChatGPT is saying to determine which headline would be most powerful to women business owners, it's essential to consider what aspects. So now the more specific I'm being, the more information it gives me to make a decision. So now I might say, rank this based on what is most SEO friendly. And by the way, I'm saving, so copy and paste, right? Rank these on which is most SEO friendly and explain why. So again, I just showed you 3 prompts. I took one and I'm 3 layers deep into it. So rank these on which is most SEO friendly and explain why, right? And so it's essential to consider, okay. So basically, I could go on all day. There are people who spend the entire day with ChatGPT. I don't have that type of time. But my point is, when you say what is most SEO friendly, say what you're trying to, for awareness, for conversion. So you got to be very specific, right? So that's my point. So I'm going to move on beyond the LinkedIn headline, and I'm going to share with you. I'm going to use my left hand to show you. As you can see, I'm a super user. I use this for everything. Is there anyone who has questions on the LinkedIn stuff before I go to the next technique? Any questions, comments? Yeah, Marco, come off mute.
Excuse me, I am a newbie. Is there a cost associated with using ChatGPT?
Yes and no. So this version is free. This version is a free version. I wouldn't put any personal information in the free version. There are some paid versions that you could get, like a license, an enterprise version built into your business, built into your processes. I think to start, a free version would be good. And there are also some ChatGPT alternatives, by the way, and many of them start as free, Margot. Like, by the way, ladies, there's Bard and there's also Jasper.ai. So before ChatGPT, we was using Jasper and we was building things off of Jasper just fine. Joan, you came off mute. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say that there is a free version, and then there is another version, gives you a little bit more upgrade where you can put your personal information in and it saves it. So whenever you use it, it takes into consideration your avatar and all of that. And I think it's like $21 a month or something inexpensive.
And the nice thing about the versions, to your point, Joan, proprietary versions, and thank you, Adrian, for keeping. So there's about 6 or 7 more that I'll send you all a tip list. I don't want to get bogged down. I'll send you a list of ChatGPT alternatives. But the nice thing about paying for ChatGPT, right, paying for a version that is on your system, is you get to train it. So the more, so here's the downside to this version, Margot. I've been using this ever since it came out, and I have hundreds. If you just look, I have hundreds of new chats and prompts, right? And I don't know that the system is getting better and better with me because I'm using a public variation of it, right? But when you're using a version that's yours, that's licensed to you, it's designed to be trained on your behaviors and your patterns. So, and it's also from a privacy standpoint. Jessica, yes.
When when you convert from the free version over into your licensed version, will it save the previous chats that you've already used?
Will it, Joan? Joan is saying yes. That's
Okay.
awesome. I did not know that.
Yes, it does. It saved all of mine when I was on the free version.
Did it update them to include your information? You prompt it to then do that once you're in the paid version.
Yeah, so when you get to the paid version, it gives you an option to put your avatar, what you do, who are you, what's your business, all of that.
Yeah.
It didn't change the original ones that, the responses I got when I was on the free version. So on the paid version is when it starts to really get deep into who my voice.
Yes.
My clients, yeah.
It's designed to fully represent you. And actually, I'm going to Minnesota doing a talk with like an internal corporation. They won't even let their people use public versions because ChatGPT to some degree is taking all the information that we're putting into it publicly and it's being used publicly. And so for the best security, definitely a paid version for private. So, okay, but all good questions. If you have more questions, put them in the chat and at the end, we'll go back and answer. So let's look at some other ways. So let's go to emails. I use ChatGPT for emails. And let me tell you, I use it for, first, let me tell you the type of emails, then I'm going to show them to you. I use ChatGPT for everything. The email reminder that you all got this morning, ChatGPT. The thank you email that you will get that is scheduled to go out 15 minutes after this ends, ChatGPT wrote it, right? With my voice layered on top of it, of course. Also, email campaigns. Let's just talk about this really quickly because ChatGPT is far more savvier than a small little assistant. You have to really maximize it. And so when I talk about being savvy, let's talk about email flows and campaigns in our business. So I'm going to start with myself and use a real example. With Queen City Women in Business, our goal is to attract major partners and also the women who are members. But let me focus on partners. With partners, these are major corporations, right? And there's a three-touch sort of process flow. And the three-touch process flow is email one is maybe an introductory email for a company who doesn't know me. So let's say that I'm trying to get Walmart to know that Queen City Women in Business exists. And we have thousands of women business owners who some of them want to do business with Walmart, but Walmart doesn't know me. So if I'm going to send this email one to Walmart and then many people, many times a day, that's a repetitive, redundant process, right? So that's email one for Walmart. And then once I get Walmart's attention and they say, yes, Dawn Nicole, this sounds good. Let's schedule a meeting. During the meeting, there's a deck, right? A slideshow, a PowerPoint that I use, right? And then when the meeting is finished, there is a follow-up meeting. You can train ChatGPT to do all three of those. And so those would be a good example of like an email workflow, especially if you're going to use that same workflow consistently, like we are doing as we are enticing multiple partners. You just rinse and repeat the name, but it's the same workflow. And then you can tweak it. So let me just show you, I was invited to something called the CELC, right? That's the Charlotte Executive Leadership Committee where all the top companies are there. And after we pitched or we shared who Skilldora was, I needed, and so look, this is me saying, ChatGPT, make this more conversational. So I asked GPT, I said, on behalf of Skilldora, write a thank you note to all attendees of today's CLEC Advancement of People of Color. So that was the specific committee. ChatGPT wrote me a super formal thank you letter and it did it in 3 seconds. Well, this was helpful. It wasn't my voice. So then I refined it and said, hey, summarize, make it more conversational. Okay, so that's just an example of how we're using the email flows. But watch this. What if I say, make this more personable or something? But someone give me a prompt. Let's actually use this. What could I say instead? I want somebody to be creative. Come off mute. What is something that I should ask ChatGPT to do differently right now to see if we get something different? Anybody, any thoughts?
Ask it to make it more compelling.
Ooh, Joan, spoken like a true writer. Okay, so let me see if this will let me, all right, so I'm gonna hit stop generating. All right, so I'm gonna say summarize and make this, I'm gonna say write this. So be real clear with what you want, write this and make it more compelling. And then sometimes I put what I want them to take action. I want them,
Call to action.
yes, or call to action. Yep. But I want them to take an action. So, yeah, I want them to take an action after reading. So that's the nice thing is you can talk to ChatGPT in layman's terms, and it's going to do the rest, right? So let me just put after reading this, because sometimes it gets it wrong. So let's see what it does. Absolutely. Here's a more compelling version. Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. Let me see, what call to action did it give us? Contact me now and let's make change happen. So watch this, Adrian, just because of you, I'm going to say, make this call to action better, or refine this call to action. So let's see. Make this call to action more profound. Let's see what it does. Certainly, here's a more profound call. All right, contact me now. So it rewrote it, and then the call to action is down here, the last thing, right? Contact me now and let's initiate a transformation. Okay, so now we're talking. You was a little bit more aggressive, ChatGPT. All right, so I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I'm going to go ahead and take some requests and do some things in real time to make this fun. I had ChatGPT write an NDA. Just by a show of hands, who on the call has had ChatGPT write a business plan, a contract agreement, or an NDA? Anyone? Joan. Okay, Dr. Stephanie. Good, good. Adrian, I know you have. You're still on mute. Have you? You're a super user.
Yes, I have. I have not used it, but yes, I have had it write several.
Okay, same. So let me just give some examples. And so instead of talking so much, Dr. Stephanie and then Joan, what was that like for you? Was it close to the real thing? Did it save you time? So Dr. Stephanie, just give us an idea of how you liked it when it wrote a contract for you. Were you satisfied with the first draft? Were you able to refine it then?
It saved a lot of time. I love the regeneration button. I kicked that baby at least 3 times. Because it gets better and gets better, and then you
Yes.
kind of know how to say something a little different. So I usually tell people, don't take the first version, hit that baby at least twice.
Yes.
And it just gets better. But I'm a big proponent of writing out what I want. I write sometimes I write a paragraph, and I am not ashamed, and I stick that paragraph in there because I want it to be as detailed as possible, because I want it to own my voice. I don't want it to tell me stuff. So I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Joan, talk to us.
Yeah, so I recently took on a licensee, which means I licensed my company for another new up-and-coming publishing company. And I wanted to have an idea of what this licensing agreement would look like. And I didn't want to call an attorney.
Right.
And so I put all of the element into ChatGPT. And to Dr. Stephanie's point, I had to hit regeneration twice. But what I also did is when I hit that regeneration button, I added elements that I didn't think it captured on the first time. And so it was able to give me, so at the end, it gave me an almost perfect license and agreement, and added elements that I didn't know I should have covered in it as well. So
I love it. I love that you said that. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. What do you all see on the screen? I'm trying to see which window I picked up. What do you see? Do y'all see anything sharing?
I see governing law and termination.
Okay, perfect. No, that's what I wanted. Okay, so here's the thing. So what I just talked about was operational earlier, right? Quick day-to-day tasks, operational. Do my emails, write me. So there's a million things you can do. You can have ChatGPT write you 20 social media posts and then schedule them through Hootsuite or Social Bee, which, ladies, I hope you're doing, by the way, right? Like that's what we're doing now, is we're automating social media, because in 2023, the goal is to get more time back. And actually, you're going to see in 2023 and beyond, time is the new gold. We no longer have, if there's anything COVID taught us, it taught us that time is precious. And it taught us that the energy we want to use to show up for things are precious. And so time is not the same as it used to be for us, okay? But with that said, let me go now to administrative tasks in your business. So, as I told you earlier, I have put together a new team, because this new team is, some of my team members are like, wait a minute, that's the NDA that I signed. So ambassadors, that beautiful NDA that you signed digitally came from ChatGPT. And here's one little tip with ChatGPT. is when you are doing anything legal, make sure that you state in ChatGPT the state that you want it to represent. So I said that here's the prompt. Sometimes it's important to understand the input, the prompt. So I said to Chat, write a simple NDA clause and confidentiality statement governed by the laws of South Carolina. This part is really important. If you do not put this here, ChatGPT will hallucinate and give you some worldview. You don't want that. So when we are using ChatGPT for legalese, we still have to be very specific, or just go to your lawyer, right? But if you've done this a million times for like a simple NDA, and I want to be clear, this is for like simple things that I know are really, not going to be a problem, basically, right? So I said to ChatGPT, write a simple NDA clause, confidentiality statement, and govern it by the laws of South Carolina, right? And then I put context, right? That the ambassador team, and notice, anytime you reference something in ChatGPT, ladies, give it context. If you reference the ambassador team, then you need to say this is a volunteer-based internal team designed to blah, blah, blah. Context, remember, command, context, cause. You cannot go wrong. So ChatGPT wrote this out, and then here's what happened next. Let me click on this. Can everybody see what I turned that into? I turned that into a digital signage form. So I took the content, and then because I'm an automated machine, I don't like to wait on paper anymore, I digitized it. And so if you hit start my review, right, all of the ambassadors filled this out in order to be privy to the information that I was going to share next. But thanks to ChatGPT, I was able to do that in 10 seconds. Any questions on that? By the way, if anyone is curious what platform I use to do this, which is also free, right? I'm the queen of like some digital technology tools. This is Online Exam Builder. So I'm giving y'all my toolkit now. Online Exam Builder will let you create an assessment, a quiz, right? An exam, and I'm a multi-user of these things as a certified trainer, okay? Any questions on anything we've discussed so far?
I just want to add that this is impressive, Dawn, the way you took it and just flip it into this online exam builder. This is great. This would save me so much time had I been able to do that. It's awesome.
Joan, you already know how it is when you're putting a team together, and you got it, and not you have to, right? This is how I'm talking. But my point is, I'll just use myself. I'm very good at lessons learned. Yes, I make mistakes, but I learn lessons. And when I looked back at why teams necessarily didn't move the way, right? Some of the inefficiencies in the big teams that I was building is I was waiting on the paperwork. I was people having to stop and print, people having to stop and do this. And so I'm constantly asking, how can I make this process more efficient so that we can get to the outcome faster? So that's just something that ChatGPT is enabling for us. So questions, comments. I want to hear from you all. I've been talking a lot, but I just want to hear, does anyone learn anything today? Is anyone curious about anything? Adrian, Teresa, yes.
Well, I'm a newbie. So this has been amazing for me, just in beginning to know where to start. So I was one of those people that like, ChatGPT, like, what is that? And shied away from it. But I'm so supercharged now to be able to start.
And Teresa, may I add, I'm so happy that you said that as a newbie, because the goal of today's talk was to say to all of you women, nobody is a pro yet. Like you got to start by starting. Just start. And what's beautiful about ChatGPT is you can speak in your own language. However you talk, it's not going to say, Teresa, that wasn't correct English. It's not going to say that, right? It's going to take what it believes you mean and give you what it believes you want. Right. And so I appreciate you saying that. Margot, I see your hand is up. Yep.
Wow, this is mind blowing. Y'all are, I'm a little bit mad at you, Dawn, because you're going to make me come out of this semi-retirement I keep promising I'm in. My friend has been telling me, you got to get into AI. You got to get into AI. And I was like, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to learn nothing new. But you blowing my mind here. I'm like, oh my gosh. So thanks a lot.
No, listen, this is our mission to make us all better, to make sure we know and then go be great. So you're welcome. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Adrian, you were going to say something.
I think that last statement that you made before you went into questions was so powerful. It is, to me, the power of ChatGPT, and it's the fact that you said, what else can I do? What else can I do? Before we couldn't ask that question, we were so bombarded with all the stuff we had to do, we could not ask that question. And so I've been having a brain fog, and Dawn has completely brought me out of my brain fog. I absolutely love AI. And I will tell you, for those of you who think you're going to retirement, this is not the time to retire. This is the time to dig in, because my personal view is AI is a legacy builder. In other words, if you have knowledge of something, it can be synthesized down to a prompt that you can hand over to the next generation, so that they don't have to go through trial and error. They know what they're going to do, and they just do it, which means that instead of having to go through all the stuff you went through, they start with what you know and build on that. To me, that's legacy.
Oh my gosh, I love you said that. So listen, thank you, Adrian, for saying that. I promise I didn't pay her to say that. You're awesome, Adrian, because that's exactly what it's about, ladies. It is about extending what you already know. It is not about replacing. It is about extending what you already know, and remove the word retirement and put it with repurpose. What else can you do? Right? What else can you repurpose your life to do? Right? And so to me, and to many, ChatGPT is enabling repurpose in our lives. And so I think that is the question when people say, well, oh my gosh, what will I do now? Everything you've been dying to do that ChatGPT can't do, like hug your child and be in the moment, right? And enjoy the beach and tell somebody how this feels, right? Like the human parts of life we can now do. So Dr. Stephanie, yes, speak to us as we come.
I just wanted to talk to the new people who are being really introduced to this. Yes. Please don't allow them, like at first, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh no, I'm good. But don't do that. I mean, and then when I really started saying, this is not taking the place of my thoughts. Right. This is not taking the place of my imagination or my creativity. Right. It is leveraging it. Because I might say it a certain way, but when you actually put it in the system, y'all, I'm talking about, I have put paragraphs, and I am not exaggerating, of something that I have said, but I've always wanted to make it tighter. Like someone put in the chat, enhance it. And when you just put your language, your voice, your thoughts into this system, it gives you bigger language. It gives you a bigger capacity. It expands your view, and it's saying what you're saying. Yes. It just gives it better language. And so I want you all to leverage. Do not allow, just your capacity at this level of who you are to push you away from what this tool. It is a tool. It is not a replacer of you. It is a tool for you. Leverage it and don't play with it. Put your stuff in there and allow it to enhance it.
And I just, I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to give you all a call to action. Adrian, I see you. I'm going to come to you. I just want to make sure. So I'm all about when you show up, like we've all shown up, I always believe that you should give people something to do next. Because sometimes the moment is not about the moment. It's about what happens next. Okay. And so ladies, under the sound of my voice, if you can hear me, I'm going to give each of you a challenge today. I'm going to challenge you. Go find that email that you sent to someone or for something important that didn't work. It didn't land, right? You didn't get the response you thought you should get. You didn't get the outcome. Take that email, drop it and copy and paste. Don't try to perfect it, because y'all know what. It'll be like, well, let me tighten it. Don't do nothing else to it. Go get that email that you cared so much about 2 months ago that you're saying, man, did it go to spam? Right? Or that you keep trying and it's not working out. Put it in ChatGPT and literally give it a command and say, write this or rewrite this to be more effective, right? Give me 5 variations of this and tell it what you're trying to cause. Don't just say rewrite this, but give it clear instructions so it can follow through on your order. So that's what I would challenge you to do in terms of getting your hands wet. And I'm going to, no matter if you're a super user, all of us have that one email that didn't land, right? Go and find that bad boy that you thought was just all of that didn't land, and put it in ChatGPT. And I'd be curious on the next talk to find out what happened. What did it say? How did it change it, right? So that's going to be my challenge. I'm going to go to Adrian, and then I'm going to close with a gift. Adrian?
Yes. So the one thing I wanted to say is, in case you missed it, because I don't remember you saying this, but the term of writing this prompt is actually called prompt engineering. And the reason I say that is because you will begin to hear that, and you have to begin to hear the words and identify with them. The other thing is, you're going to need uniform storage because you're going to have so many different prompts. You're going to have a place to put them. So start working on that. And then the last part is, there is another database that they have put on top of ChatGPT called AI ERM, which is a database of prompts that other people have written. So while you're going through and you're trying to figure all this out, there are also people that are trying to figure it out along with you. So you don't have to be in this place by yourself. So that's the one thing I was going to say. And one last thing. You can also purchase prompts. And I have purchased prompts that other people have written, and because it's just brand new, they don't cost very much. And you can do all kinds of wonderful things with them, including art. Okay, I'm done.
Awesome. And then, Adrian, I'll get the information from you, send it to me, and I'll send it to this group. But Adrian just took me right to my segue. So thank you, Adrian. So again, I told you, ladies, there's going to be a lot that we talk about in an hour. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. You don't have to make a decision. Take a picture. The reason why I want you to take a picture of this QR code is because as a member of Queen City Women in Business, you don't have to know it all. You already, by you being a member, this is going to teach you the basics of prompt engineering. Not to go and become a coder, right, or a programmer for a company, because a lot of people have this misconception, well, I don't do technology. In 2023 and beyond, if you are in business, you can no longer afford not to know. It is costing you more not to know. There is now a basic course that has been simplified, that is a top 5-star rated course that people in business are taking, project managers, leaders are taking, and it's going to teach you, and not just teach you, it's going to show you. What's really nice about this is that you're going to open up your laptop, you're going to download openai.com, you're going to have it right there on your desktop, and this course is going to say, let's start here with the SMART technique. The SMART technique is making sure that your information is accurate. How do I know that I got an accurate output? How do I know I can trust this before I go to my client or put this on my PowerPoint? So let me tell you something. You can get a cheat sheet, and cheat sheets are great. They're all over. There's all these ChatGPT prompts, which are great. But cheat sheets don't tell you why something works. Training gives you the what and the why. So I would say do both. If you're trying to do something quick, go get a cheat sheet, right? They're free. But if you want to understand the rationale, why does this technique work? What is the RCC technique, where you give ChatGPT a role? Did you know if you tell ChatGPT to pretend it's an expert English teacher, that's called giving it a role, it will do it. So understand why things are working. This course is going to teach that to you. And as a member, you get it at a deep discount thanks to our partnership with Skilldora. So that's what I wanted to tell you is, don't just leave here today, right, and just be excited. Do something, because the world is changing whether you're ready or not. It's changing all around us. And we as small businesses, especially women, we've got to stay competitive. All right, so that's what I will close out and say. Adrian, if you want to send me any information that I can put in an email, so if you want to email it to me, that would be great, because I've got an email going out in just a second. Any questions before we close out today, ladies? Was this helpful? If this was helpful, give us a heart emoji or a hand emoji, or this is our first talk and we want to make sure we're giving value to this group. Yay, so many hearts. Thank you, ladies. And feel free to come off mute. Your energy helps us. We love hearing your voice. Any comments or questions before we close? Taja, hey.
Hello, everybody. This was very helpful. I've played around with it a little bit, but you've given some, I've been trying to write everything down. So if you could send that email, that will be very helpful. Thank you so much for putting this together.
And does anyone want this recording? Would anyone like to go back and see this, even though we have to
Yes.
kick off?
Yes.
Oh, all right, I'll send the recording out. Thank
Absolutely.
you, ladies. Thank you, all of you. Make sure you join our November talk, November 17th, where Dr. Jessica helps us to survive the holidays as a woman in business. Thank you, Dr. Jessica. We can't wait to hear from you. And yes, thank you. And become members, tell your friends, and let's go get this, ladies. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good week. Thank you, ladies. Take care. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.